Howdy, folks. Welcome to Alberon RPG, the home of a whole bunch of different games. I am Joe Treff, your GM this evening and many other evenings. We have a couple of things that we're going to be doing today, and one of them is going to be just a short monologue to allow for some time to pass. But before we get into the true activities of today, a couple of quick announcements. First of all, we have a Twitch channel that you're watching, of course. Hello, it looks like Kara, I can see Hannah. We are also on YouTube at Alberon RPG. You can see something like 500 sessions of various role-playing games over there from 2019 going on forwards every week. We also have an Instagram, which is at Alberon RPG. You can see the different things that pop up on the table, handouts, things like that, at Alberon RPG over on Instagram. We play a lot of music here, and the music comes from Sirenscape, which is a digital tool set that you can use to play music, sound effects, things like that, in your D&D games, at your bar mitzvahs, in your engineering schools, wherever you want to play sound effects. I think putting it on like a remote speaker and then dropping it into an air duct would be hilarious, but haven't done that yet. Sirenscape is a great digital tool set. We also have a couple of songs that are coming from Monument Studios music as well. On top of all of those different things, you can see us when we play D&D at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday right here on Twitch. But now that I have everybody right here and around the table, I am also joined by some of my friends who may or may not have their phones on. We have Olive, Dan, Brandon, Liz, and David. The first time is always really hard because it's a different order every time. And we're going to be playing Starfinder 2E. Before we do that, and before we get into the various characters and kind of start talking about characters, I wanted to talk a little bit about this campaign and this setting. So, unlike our last D&D campaign, or Starfinder campaign, which is a little bit more, I would say like, man, I don't even know what genre to put that in anymore. We'll call it a space opera. This is going to be a little bit more cyberpunk in nature, as you may be able to tell by the sort of landscape of this space. You can see over there we have our little cyberpunk chat, which I'll tune up and kind of get into a little bit more of a readable color in the future, but experimenting with a little bit of a different overlay for this. Before I jump into talking about the setting, we're doing a little bit of a different system. We played Starfinder First Edition for Mosaic Team 5. We will be playing Starfinder Second Edition, which does have some mechanical changes. I'll go into those as they come up across the first couple of sessions. Does anybody have any questions before we jump into learning a little bit about the campaign?
No, sir.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
We'll do introductions, but we kind of had people missing for when that was time, so we'll do it during character introductions. So this game is going to be a cyberpunk game, and it is going to be set on a mega city called Seethe. This spans what was once a massive asteroid, now just kind of a huge city that occupies much of the surface. Yeah.
Is Seethe the entire planet plus asteroid, or is it
Most
just
of
a
it.
city? Okay.
Okay, cool.
So anything that is not covered by the urban sprawl of Seethe, and you can actually see there are maps in front of you on either side of the table. And so you can see them a little bit here on our combat cam. You can see them in even greater detail at Alberon RPG. But anything that is not covered by a large section of vertically sprawling city is covered by what is called the Rust Ocean. And I'll go over that in a second. But each of these sections that you see that is kind of like a blue geometric shape is sort of an approximate district that itself is continental in size. It's huge. An entire lifetime could and oftentimes is spent in one of these spires. At the highest level, or above everything, above even these structures, there is like a little ring around everything. This is called the Halo of Seethe. This is a luminous orbital ring of space stations and corporate spaceports. This is one of the very few sort of constellations that you can see above all the artificial skies projected above each spire individually. This is where executives and elite travelers live. Most people, and most of you, will never step foot on one of these rings should a life go according to plan. Whether that comes to pass or not, we will certainly see over the course of this campaign. Below this ring, which orbits the entire asteroid, there is these spires. Every single one of these is an arcology that houses millions of people. Every single one of them is its own controlled environment with a unique artificial sky projected above. Each one could sort of be considered a continent. And because each is owned by a different company, which is named on the map, you have the two largest, which are Heliox Systems and Kobayashi Vector, but then a smattering of smaller corporations that have kind of conglomerated on, ranging from Hologram Corp to Gravitas Infrastructure. And I'll do a one-sentence kind of summary of what each of those are. And we can ask questions and stuff like that too. But each one of these has a different set of laws. Most of them relatively universal. You shouldn't be murdering people. When property definitely varies from place to place, but you shouldn't steal property. Things like that are pretty universal. But then there are some very distinct differences, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Some of it will be discovered as we go along, almost certainly. Because each is owned by a different corporation, the law enforcement structure is different in each of these spires. Some are a little bit more strict in their punishment structures. Some are a little bit more insidious in the way that they punish things, and you find suddenly your ability to access parts of the spire shut off. Things like healthcare, which I guess is not too dissimilar to our current dystopia. What is legal differs from spire to spire, and so keeping track of that will also certainly benefit you. Beneath the spires, which look like these towering structures, though they are slightly different from region to region, there is a section that is called the neon depths. And these are traditionally connected physically. You can get from one to the other, spanning across different spires this way. They are patrolled by the various kind of security systems of each company, but a little bit looser. This is where there are nightclubs and gambling and bars and arcades and all manner of recreational opportunities. There is a secondary set of powers that exist here. Anybody who has filled a niche that does not exist in a more criminal fashion typically bases themselves out of the neon depths. Even lower than that, in the original sections of the city that are kind of crumbling, what was originally infrastructure now built over, is called the Undercrawl. This is where all of you live at the start of our adventure. This is a place where you might find illegal tech labs, rogue AIs roam from place to place down here. There are dangerous scavengers who eke out a living away from the depths. There are also creatures of unknown origin here, which occasionally find their way from other parts of the galaxy. And so a dangerous place to live. But most of you are pretty familiar with that. Beneath this and around this is the Rust Oceans, and this is where the craftiest and most daring smugglers hide ships. There are pirates that ride the Rust Oceans on hovercraft. There are separatists that have formed junk islands outside the grasp of the major corporations. No matter where you exist within Seethe, you share it with billions of other souls from thousands of other species, some of whom exist in slightly different realities than your own, either by choice, in the case of things like mind mesh enthusiasts, or a little bit more forced in the case of those whose Ledger Corp scores have dropped especially low. But either way, in a universe where memory modification is a thing, unpleasant experiences can be forgotten for a price, and your memories maybe are not the most trustworthy, depending on who you are.
What?
Most people within Seethe are augmented in some way, shape, or form. So to not be augmented will make you stand out. To not have cyberware of some kind or tattoos would be very odd in your line of work.
Nice.
So with all this in mind, any questions about the very basics of Seethe? Yeah.
Do we get starting augmentations?
We'll get some starting equipment and
Nice.
things like that.
Awesome.
Absolutely. We'll talk a little bit about that during character creation in just a moment. But any questions about how the city is built? Yeah.
Just to paint the picture.
Sure.
The ocean of Seethe, you called it the Rust Ocean. Is it blood red?
It's literally water is not super common here.
Okay, cool.
Most of the water is produced by Aguadine, the Aguadine conglomerate. And so the Rust Ocean is literally more of a desert made out of just particulate of rust, much of which is naturally part of this mostly metallic asteroid, but some of which is just crumbling infrastructure as well.
Okay, cool. That clears up a lot.
Other questions before we drop into character creation?
So I'm imagining it almost like the top of the spire is like, I don't know. I'm imagining actual spires.
So it's what you think of as like a city, like New York.
Like hierarchy.
Skyscrapers, there are streets, but much more vertical. If you think about the Fifth Element with like the hovering taxis and the flying, it's much like that. And then as it gets lower and lower and lower, you see less and less sky. And it becomes more like just when you look down, you're just seeing building, street, hovering cars. When you look up, you're seeing the same thing. And when you get to a certain depth, you're never even really seeing.
There is no sunlight.
Right.
Okay.
And because this is an asteroid, there isn't really sunlight anywhere. Every section has its own fake sky.
Right.
So depending on where that is, a place like Kiliak Systems, which really thinks about refining things and making them almost surgically precise, that probably looks like a night sky. For other places like Hologram Corp, which is essentially Facebook, it's just a smattering of advertisements instead of any kind of like natural sky.
Terrible.
In terms of going outside of the city / this asteroid,
Sure.
Is there going to be opportunities for us to leave this place, or is it mostly going to be in this city?
It's mostly going to be within
cool.
this city. There will be opportunities to go to the Halo, potentially, should you want to find your way there. But no, primarily this will be based within the city, so picking skills relating to like piloting, probably not in your best interest. That being said,
street racing?
there are certainly
Gonna ride the dust ocean.
hovercraft, things like that, certainly used around here. So like it's not a useless skill. This isn't in the last campaign we did a lot of what is called lockout, which is basically like dogfighting. We're not gonna have a whole lot of that here. If we want to do that, we could do a one shot.
That was like some
or
of my
something
favorite
like that. It was a lot of fun. But I will say Starfinder 2E does not have StarCraft rules set up yet because it's too hard. So it
doesn't have starship combat, right?
Not really, no. It's thematic and theater of the mind.
Rats.
Yes, but it still exists as stuff that we can still do. So don't worry too much about that. If it comes up, we'll find a way.
I definitely want to do silly like stuff like that. I enjoy it. That's like part of my favorite part of the campaign.
There will be a lot of opportunity for silly stuff. It is a cyberpunk dystopian mega city.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of this is going to be based off of what you guys want to do. I'll talk about this at the very end, but going into session 1, you'll have a pretty clear mission in front of you.
Yep.
After that, it's really up to you guys, how you want to achieve your ends. Incredibly flexible. If you guys decide that you're gonna buy 2 chickens and you're gonna slowly allow for one to make an egg, and then you're gonna hatch that egg and then have 3 chickens and then slowly build a fiscal empire that way, it's probably gonna be like a 10-year campaign. But you know what?
More like Monster Card Arena, that one like little adventure we did, or like the dance con, like that kind of stuff. Me and Olive, I think I don't know if I speak for those are some of my favorite moments.
A lot of opportunity. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for downtime. 2E actually has a good way of looking at it, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, there'll be plenty of opportunity for little side quests and what I think in most shows are considered
filler episodes.
Filler episodes.
I love a filler episode.
I think they have really important purposes.
I agree.
And there are places like Avatar: The Last Airbender, great filler episodes. Some of my favorite. So, with any other questions?
No.
Okay. So Olive, you were sitting right over there on my left. So we'll start with you. Thinking a little bit about your character. What are you thinking about playing?
So, we played a session 0.5 when I played a Kasatha soldier space pirate, and I quickly learned that I did not build the best soldier build for that one shot. And it wasn't really, like, soldiers for me, like, as I read into it, like, really wasn't aligning with what I wanted Valenka to be. So then I switched to, I stayed Kasatha, switch to operative, and then switch to smuggler background.
Nice.
So I'm building this character who, Seethe, classically from Akaton, Akatonian Seethe build, and she her whole backstory is on the docks of Akaton, smuggling goods with her found family, basically. So that is probably what I'm gonna play, depending on what you guys bring to the table. I switched to operative just because Technomancer and Mechanic aren't fully fleshed out yet. But I'm open to switching to either one of those if need be.
Okay. So a Seethe operative smuggler who smuggled things with their found family.
Yes.
Okay.
From Akaton, and then I can go deeper into the backstory if you'd like, but...
So I'm curious also, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Thinking about the city of Seethe, what is it especially that what is your character's name?
Vlalinka!
Vlalinka, the Seethe operative.
So Kasatha's typically have super long names like Jimmy Wayne had that have to do with their clan and the societal hierarchy that they were a part of.
Jimmy Wayne from the clan Pepsi Bell.
Pepsi, yeah.
Of the world, Montana.
So I can tell you her extended name. It is Vlalinka Ostrovich, Nevarn of Clan Ostrovich and House Krarosh, bearer of the Silent Ledger and walker of the Tempered Path.
Okay, very cool name.
Nice.
Yes.
Very dope name.
Let's stick with Valenka.
Yeah, Blali for short.
Blali for sure.
Blali.
I'm gonna have a hard time saying that.
I know.
Blali.
Vlalinka is easier for me,
Vlalinka.
actually. And so, all great things. What motivates your character? What do you want to do? What is your goals?
Great question.
Because part of what we want to think about for creating this group is what keeps you together, and when things get challenging, why not just be like, all right, fuck you guys, I'm just going to go off and do my own thing. Because one, that makes it really challenging from a story perspective. But two, it also just isn't as fun. So what motivates Valenka?
I can have two things that she can explore. One is she got separated from her sisters, and there's an account on Seethe when she was doing smuggling that she followed here. So maybe that's how she ended up here. But since her smuggling ring is no longer a thing, why is that account still active? I don't know why, so maybe she can explore that. I'm also thinking, so Seethas are traditionally really into honoring culture, honoring traditions. So maybe there's a part of Vlalinka that wants to honor the traditions that are getting pushed out of these by these big corporations. So finding maybe the indigenous people of Seethe or something like that, or restoring indigenous artifacts, whatever. That's something also Vlalinka could explore.
I like that.
So I think one of the things, because it's an asteroid, so there's not an indigenous people, although I love the idea of there just being a society of people chilling in the dark with no solar radiation or any real way to generate life, just sitting there being
we don't know,
right,
in the
I'm going to
ocean,
work.
maybe.
See you later, Frank.
Yeah, who knows?
They have their own TikTok and everything.
Yes.
But there's no indigenous peoples here, but there could be this idea, especially because you're coming from sort of a found family,
Yes.
that culture can be made. And the idea of Seethe should be something that is more belonging to the people who live there, less the corporations who own it. And that would definitely be something that falls in line with the themes of this campaign.
Okay, so belonging to the people, not the corporations.
I do like that. So very, very cool. And
Very
then
cool.
what within the city of Seethe makes life hard for Valenka?
Well, she's poor. She's destitute.
Sure.
She she's, I guess being wanted is a little bit cliche, so let me think about that. Like, yes, she was illegally smuggling. She probably ticked some people off. So yes, she could be wanted by someone that she pulled one over on in her past life. What makes living here hard? She also, Kasathas mask their face. So I think maybe for her in like a city that probably has security cameras everywhere and
Depends on the spire.
yeah, keeping her identity more of a secret might be something she might struggle with.
Okay. And then
That might be hard for me to play though, as someone
who notoriously,
who
is not
notoriously
good.
bad.
is not good at keeping her. So that one's. I'll try.
Okay. So the identity thing is going to be very interesting. One of the things
Yes.
that you can play around with here a little bit is with so many spires, you could, in theory, especially with a group like the Valor Syndicate, you could run afoul of them very seriously and like murder an important person there, be, 5-star wanted in GTA there. And then you could just be like, all right, I guess we're not going to be able to do work there, and then just go somewhere different. You want to be careful about the alliances between the corporations. For instance, off the top of my head, the Heliox, they design a lot of systems that go into bodies. And when payments can't be made on those systems, they're repossessed.
Oh, dope.
And there are some, I have to remember exactly what they're called, but there are certain groups that have essentially extradition treaties for those repossessions. So you want to be careful about the connections between these corporations if you are going to really burn your bridges.
I'm not trying to. So
I know. Just something to think about. Every group also has their own kind of law enforcement, and they're kind of concerned with different things. So there are places where, depending on, like, Valor Syndicate's a great example.
What is Valor Syndicate?
So I'll go into the factions in a second,
Okay.
but I want to give you guys a chance to talk, so I'm breaking it up into sections here. For the Valor Syndicate, like, you in theory could murder somebody there, and it would be kind of okay depending on the circumstances.
Oh, so murder. Okay.
But there are places like in the Volterra Grid Spire, if you sell a counterfeit battery, you could go to jail
Okay.
for a very long time.
Okay, strict.
So yeah, there are different things that are monitored, and there are essentially like 4 to 5 key important laws in each place that are a little different than others. But you don't really need to know them unless you're intending to live super upright lives within the upper spires, which none of you are really probably going to be.
So we're in the undercrawl, right?
You are living within the undercrawl. Much of the game will be played within the neon depths.
Okay, so it does the undercrawl have different defined factions like the spires do, or is the undercrawl just underneath all of them and all blended together?
It's underneath everything. The flavor kind of bleeds in a little bit. So, like, if you're underneath mind meld, you're still going to have people wandering in who are kind of out of touch with reality.
Okay.
But, like, they're not directly influenced. You're not going to see, I'm trying to remember the mind meld police people now. Give me one second.
Police.
No, that's not what they're called. The cogitors. You're not going to see them down in the undercrawl very often.
Okay.
So, all good things. And then finally, Olive, have you thought about allies?
No.
Okay.
I have not.
And then what about a nemesis?
I don't know if nemesis is the right word, but she has an extremely mistrustful relationship with someone from her former smuggling group. Her name is Anya. And there were 3 of them. There was Anya, Keta, and Valenka. Valenka was like logistics. Anya was like the charismatic face of the growing company. And then Keta was the like one who worked with all the dock workers, and like she was like the nice babushka. But something bad happened, and Keta died, so Anya and Balinka blame each other. So I don't know if Anya is a nemesis per se.
You can. So I'm asking you, if you choose Anya to be your nemesis, she will be. It. You know how I like to tell a story. She's not going to be like a straight out evil character.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be it's going to be an emotionally rough story. I'm here for it. I think it's a great idea.
How did the third one die?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Because maybe
there you
there's like
go.
a nemesis in that story.
I don't know.
A lot of options.
So, yeah, I guess for paper, Anya is nemesis right
Love
now.
that. Love
All right,
that. I think that's fantastic. So, okay, we'll come back to that. We can collaborate a little bit more on allies later.
Yeah, no Alice. Lonely as fuck.
No allies.
I don't want it to actually be like that.
All right, Dan, tell me a little bit about your character.
Okay, so my character is Monk. And Monk is starting off probably in the lower areas, but he's probably on the more okay path, in terms of like his upbringing. He didn't struggle that much. His parents did die because I just don't want parents.
Are you from Seethe?
Yes.
My
character.
so you're born in
Yeah,
Seethe.
my character is born in Seethe. He is raised by his grandmother. He has this kind of like latchkey kind of vibe to him. Very into like energy drinks, bumming cigarettes, very into like wrestling. He's like one of those kids that you like know like his parents just aren't giving a fuck about.
I know
He come
exactly.
in and out.
yeah.
Exactly. His appearance is very. I based him off a young version of Ron Perlman. I don't have the picture.
Amazing.
Yes, hold on, I have a picture.
I didn't know who that was.
He's very young in it.
Not know
So
Ron
he
Perlman.
is like.
I've never
You're
heard
gonna
of
see
it.
his
Yeah.
face.
You're gonna see his face and be like,
Oh, that guy.
No,
that guy.
he sent me a picture, and I was like, "What do you mean?"
No, but to
Who
be
is that?
fair, this is like one of the least Ron Perlman
Yeah.
looking pictures of Ron
That is
Perlman.
true.
Can you like
because
adjust a screen?
as he gets older,
Okay.
his face just becomes more Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
He hasn't grown into his face yet in that picture.
So the character basically starts off kind of like living like as a latchkey kid, but he has a love of writing and literature, and he loves just getting into the nitty gritty of like what is the truth of a scene or like of a person. So he really drives that to become like a sort of journalist. I don't know if he goes to a community college. I kind of want him to have like not like a community college, but like kind of a formal internship or some kind of training that he goes to like kind of move up his career, because he is a journalist.
Okay.
And he's training basically because he views not only the world of Seethe as different competing wealth structures and people competing for like who's going to make it on the top, but he views it as different variations of truth.
Oh, for sure.
He thinks everyone has basic like competing ideas of it, and he really wants to get to the heart of that and try to like get out into the world what is happening and try to spread it out. That's really kind of like his main goal, I would say.
Yeah.
Is trying to explain to the rest of the world what is happening on the city of Seethe.
Okay.
And also just his love of writing and of itself. He has a side goal of creating before in the Vampire campaign, it was the greatest American novel. This is more of the classic. He's trying to create the next classic.
Gotcha.
So he's really striving to like make his name in this world where honestly most people don't even pay attention to like written formats.
Yeah.
No.
That
Yeah.
was exactly what I was
Yeah.
going to
So
comment
lost.
Yeah.
And no one reads.
Books.
But the idea of like media though and like making stories, that's really the drive that people are going for, and that's really what his bread and butter is.
So your motivation is really to find and tell the truth.
Yeah.
What is...
And I imagine there's probably when you get higher up into like the ring and stuff, there are some people who really are still into literature and like really the classics and stuff like that.
So then part of this is within this group, what is the motivation to then engage in this sort of gray area of the world?
So my character is despite being a witch warper, which is a class that is a spellcaster, and it seems like they have all these like crazy powers and stuff, like pulling stuff through different dimensions and stuff like that, he is someone who's just kind of getting into his powers. He's very young. He is 21, that's like in his early 20s, and he's really trying to just get access to the world, and he hasn't had many allies. So he's thinking, hey, if I can kind of hang my hat with these people, maybe this will give me some opportunities to nail that one story, and that can advance my career, maybe move up, start shooting some more stories out there. Hey, maybe I'll get a good job somewhere.
So I have a suggestion in terms of kind of your family structure prior, because obviously you don't want them, because it's very, I appreciate it, very convenient. Can I tell you, and I know some of you are listening, can I tell you the D&D group, they made me role play on our first session like 40 fucking parents.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. I liked listening
It was
to
great.
it.
I had such a good time. It was a blast.
But the way I think I mentioned it to you is I'm kind of sick of like family. I like different kind of relationships.
No,
so
for sure.
I'm doing caseworker. My character has a caseworker.
What's that?
He's like, you don't know what a caseworker is?
Like a social worker?
Yeah, like a social worker. It's like someone, he's like an at-risk youth.
So I like this.
Yeah.
Come by and make sure you're not a little truant, right?
I like
School
the
and
idea
stuff
of
like
your
that.
parents being a little bit wealthier than maybe most of everybody else here. You maybe spent like the first 5 years of your lives living in the neon depths.
Cool.
So
All right.
like still in the socioeconomic world, probably like lower middle class, but certainly more wealthy than most of the people that you're going to encounter within the early part of this campaign, especially. And then when your parents died, you had to move in with your grandmother, who lives in the undercrawl, like at the upper part of the undercrawl, but still like a step down. And so when you saw a way maybe back, because the club that your fixer works out of is in the neon depths, certainly that would be like a motivation to maybe jump in with this group.
And I think there's a lot of great dissonance of like my character kind of like starting up from some place of wealthiness and like kind of high art, and then kind of living more of like as an outsider now in the slums, kind of experiencing like his day-to-day interactions with people being more of his latchkey kid kind of side, more of his like in your face. And he is someone who's really into the nightclub and like social kind of scenes of people. Perfect. He is very much into just going out and partying. He has just recently come out of the closet as homosexual. He's trying to explore his gay identity. He's trying to explore what it means to like even just go out and like be an adult, and like what is missing out for him on that world of like nightclubs and stuff like that. He's always thinking, well, there's another party that could be happening, another story I could be missing. Why am I not staying up and going for that thing? I gotta
Failure
go for
Syndicate's
it.
going to be real interesting for you. Okay, so I love that. You don't need to tell me what makes life hard. The very nature of your character is going to make life very difficult for you. So that's great. What about allies?
So I mentioned the caseworker, and he also has a friend who is a publicist named Harper, who I named him Harper Collins.
Yep.
Yeah.
I fucking think that's hilarious. And then the publisher, Harper Collins.
Yeah, he grew up with him, and he like
you and I did a little talking about like what that would look like, that particular relationship, and that will develop over the course of the campaign. So great, perfect. And we talked about your nemesis, so
we don't even have to go into that.
We won't even go into
that.
I want to know who your nemesis is.
Oh, you would like to. Oh, you're gonna want to know.
I think most people want to know.
You're gonna want to know.
So that's all that I need for you from right now. Going around over here, Brendan, what about you? What are you thinking for a character?
Yeah, so I'm thinking of playing Sagan. He is going to be and correct my pronunciation if I get this wrong, a Sarcesian.
Carl, I believe it's pronounced.
It's Carl?
No, sorry.
No.
I think you got it right.
So this is kind of a very tall, almost elfish-looking thing. I don't know if it's in the player's handbook.
It's not. I'm looking
on
at
the
it
website,
right now.
though,
So they're,
No, it's
you can,
not.
You can think of they look almost
I think
like
it's a game. Yeah, no, it's not.
the face and the ears are almost like fairy-like, but very dark eyes, kind of like a gray, and then they have these like luminous,
Large humanoids.
sort of like wings, right?
Yeah.
Picture.
Luminous wing like structures that come out in the vacuum.
Oh,
You can fly?
It looks like
In the
Tinkerbell
vacuum.
with a-
Yeah.
I mean, in a
In the
vacuum.
drift?
I mean, in a vacuum.
They're almost like a solar sail.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
my thought with this is a guy who
Looks like an ace.
was hired,
Yeah.
many years ago by one of the corporations that needed a bunch of people who could work in 0G, in no atmosphere.
Sure.
He was hired with a bunch of other Sarcesians, and they all came here and quickly found themselves in some sort of like debt slavery, essentially, where you show up and you have to pay so much for your trip here and so much for your rent, and it's due now, and all this other stuff.
Oh yeah, the classic.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
classic.
Like servitude.
Yeah. So
This is a place where the company store is like literally the whole planet.
yes.
Yeah.
And this was pretty hard for all the Sarcesians because they're very naturally like they flit from thing to thing. They don't like being tied down to one place. Now they were really tied down. The way that they kind of banded together and came up with a way to feel a little bit more at home was they all sort of joined a church called the Hall of Hylax, which is all about. You're very excited about this.
She loves
played it.
highlights.
So
Last campaign, yeah.
they were all together, and part of this, and then there was a big industrial accident where they were all working. Took out like 6 of them. Another 3 were seriously injured. He lost a good, like basically his entire leg and a good chunk of his torso,
Oh.
and had to.
Augment.
Well,
Yeah, he's augmented.
he was trying to get augments, but
Oh.
his employer was not very interested in paying for them, and he didn't have money for it.
Right.
Realistic.
Yeah.
Ah!
This is when he experienced what he calls a miracle of Hylax, where all of a
Okay.
sudden he was able to, like, his body started stabilizing itself. It still needed some serious implants, and somehow he was able to work things out where he now has a new leg. He has some implanted organs, but he's had to go through this with he's had to go through this pretty hard injury, and now he has this sort of connection to the healing powers of Hylax, as he sees it.
Nice.
Wait, so what's your class?
It's going to be a mystic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
all right.
motivation, just this connection to Hylax, the nature of Hylax, especially, I think, kind of lends itself very much to like very clear motivations that come up.
Yeah.
Especially with what is the nature of the remaining Circassians that survive that incident?
Yeah. So my feeling is that at this point he's had to they've kind of gotten rid of him in the tower in the arcology. Now that
Okay.
he's living in the undercrawl.
Sure.
Still coming after him with people looking for him to settle his debts somehow.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Debt collector.
Yeah. But he's sort of disconnected from them.
Okay. I like that.
But yeah, I think one of the things is they had actually established a hall, like a physical church at one point, maybe somewhere in the undercrawl, maybe somewhere in the neon depths, and now it's kind of shattered. I think I had sent you some ideas for like the things for clergy, and like my idea is like at least one of the clergymen had actually died in that explosion.
Okay. I like that. I'll tell you because you
Yeah.
made me start thinking about the religions there. The 4 major gods
Yeah.
are going to be Triune, who is sort of the god of technology. They are worshipped primarily by people. And again, most people in this world where there is miraculous technology and also magic find themselves not necessarily needing religion in their lives. So the way that it's practiced here is oftentimes much more like in the same way that you stub your toe and you say Jesus Christ. You might be more prone to saying one God than another, depending on where you grew up. But most people are not quote unquote true believers. Triune is the god of technology. Their worship is primarily in Axiom Relay, Hologram Corp, and the Mind Mesh Collective. They're really seen more as like a truth of connectivity. There is Urgatoa, who is the goddess of undeath, of excess, and of indulgence. They have a lot of worshippers in the neon depths across most of the spires. And then there is Oros, who is the god of knowledge, and then Hylax, of course, the forever queen. So
My forever.
we have those 4 as the primary religions.
Cool.
Had you thought about allies?
Allies. I would think that there would be at least one clergy still around that he's able to contact. Someone who sort of, I was thinking like someone who's very empathetic. I had a name for them, but feel free to come up with your own.
Sure.
I think the name I came up with was Carla Sentis, so feel free to...
Carl.
Yeah, it's
Oh
Carl.
my god, it's literally Carl.
It is Carl. It's another Carl.
I knew it. It always comes out.
So feel free to change that to something that's more interesting.
No, I think that's great. And specifically there, one of the things that you guys will need to think about is the work that you do is not super safe. And so likely even with a healer, you need access to medical services. What I would recommend is maybe this ally is somebody who was part of your hall or something like that. And after the incident and after they're in a similar situation to you, also trying to kind of avoid whatever debt is left behind. And they have opened up within the undercrawl or the neon depths a sort of clinic. And it you know, they're very empathetic, so they're not there to judge people. They're offering healing to anybody who needs it. And they're not, you know, going to turn people away, even if they're involved in some somewhat nefarious things.
Yeah.
This gives you access to some of the larger healing services early on, and then also can serve as an interesting plot point based on kind of who you run into in that place or over the course of maybe needing to get some of the things you'll need to get some of the larger upgrades. But does that sound like something that works for you?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. So this can be one of our vendors here. And then what about a nemesis?
I was actually thinking just one of his paymasters.
Oh.
His employer.
Yeah, his employer. Someone who might have been in like both like payroll and also his landlord.
Oh my god.
Really heightened the contradiction.
That is so dark.
So
That's so dark.
Probably of either Gravitas infrastructure. They build most things around Seethe. They're all about like infrastructure. They run the transit systems, and so they do a lot of like the building and could have been a part of that. Or Ledger Core, who they focus on banking, credit, and debt tracking. And you know, they if you ever fall into a certain amount of debt, they end up with it ultimately. And their law keepers are called the auditors. Otherwise, Gravitas Infrastructure would see you sought out by the Construction, Architecture, and Engineering Safety Authority, or Seethe.
I feel like he could have started out working for Gravitas, and then his debt got sold off to Ledger Core.
Okay. Fantastic.
Just make it really and it would have been a nice meeting when they informed him. They would have called him in a nice Zoom meeting, like, we're selling off your debt.
That's a tough one. That's a tough meeting to hear. We're selling off your debt to assassins.
The assassin is there. He's like, so give me your money right now.
There'll be a short survey sent after this call.
Oh my
Please
god.
give us your feedback.
Yikes.
It helps
Anonymous,
us
but not
grow.
actually.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, cool. All good. That makes life very easy for me. Anything else?
No, I can't think of anything else.
Wait, who's the allies?
We have the clergy.
Carl.
Oh, Carl. Right.
Clergy Carl.
Empathetic Carl. Yeah, clergy Carl. That's definitely going to be
There we go.
clergy Carl. Oh, man, I love that. Okay. I like the idea that clergy Carl is like from a George Foreman family where they're all named Carl, but because of that, like the differentiator was that he's in the clergy, so he's clergy Carl.
Captain
Yes.
Carl.
Yeah, there's Captain Carl, there's clergy Carl, there's
We're gonna
car
meet so
salesman
many Carls.
Yeah.
Yay!
So,
Carl's
Carl's Jr. Carl. All right. Liz.
Yeah. I'm gonna be Nyx, NYX, who's an android, and she used to be part of a circus, and she would do these really deadly, insane acrobatic shows for the purpose of her like dying in them for the amusement of people attending. And she'd have to put herself back together. So you're supposed to like crash, burn, break in them, and so over time she learned how to put new pieces on her, and she's been
Android mechanic, right?
Yes.
Nice.
It's a small world after all, but like the darkest possible version.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at some point she like was fed up with the ringmaster, and he was not nice to her or any of the other androids that were there who were still there. And it was like slavery, you know. So she spent a long time plotting a plan with a friend, an android, who like figured out how to grab a jet, and their plan was to just jet out of there, and then she crash landed on here, but maybe we could say that like she can't find the other android.
Okay. So part of your motivation is finding this other android. Part of what makes life hard is that you know literally nobody here.
And also the motivation of saving the others.
This other android. Save the other android from the circus of death. Okay.
Hell yeah.
And then, man, that's good. So your motivation's very easy. What makes life hard is very easy. I imagine from a nemesis standpoint as well, the circus,
The ringmaster.
The ringmaster.
Nice.
Okay. Did you have an idea about how this ringmaster was, or do you want me to make him up?
Ooh, I would love to see what you come up with.
Okay.
I'll default to you, Joe.
That was fun.
Easy peasy. All right, ringmaster nemesis from your allies.
Oh, and I do have a drone too, named Fix, Fyx.
Ooh,
Nix
that's a
and
good-
Fix.
That's
Mhm.
a
Nix
that's
and
a good
Fix.
one.
Nix and
That's a good
Fix. I love that. Okay. I think what makes the most sense then for me is that you probably don't have allies because of the nature of you like literally falling from heaven into the
Ascending
world.
from hell.
Right?
I love your intro being like in a flickering bar. You walk in, and from just your outline, there's some like really drunk old man there's like, "Hey, did you just fall from heaven?" And then like the lights flicker on, and just the fucked up face.
Oh my god.
And you're just like, "Yeah, actually, I did." But fantastic.
What
So-
is Nix's personality like?
I would say she was very like neutral and didn't really have a personality, but over time, because she went through so much pain, she developed sentience, and she.
Oh my god.
Man.
So you're so
What the fuck?
technically there is another one thing to look at. There's a and I don't know if it's out in Starfinder
It's
2
not.
yet. The SROs.
No, it's not.
So there used to be in Starfinder 1, and this is kind of I think what you're leaning towards in your Android build. They're sentient objects. So like we had a lot of them in 1E. I love to make like a vending machine just come alive and be
A jackhammer.
person now. Yeah, we had a jackhammer SRO that just jackhammered people.
Yeah.
That was so fun. So you're kind of that. You were literally an automaton that then just developed sentience over the course of this torturous existence, which is kind of just what life is. So, phenomenal.
Oh god. I hope not.
So
Yeah.
a couple of things. Your character will have a few unique quirks. You do not have allies to start with. This also means of everybody here, you and Valinka are the only two so far who are not going to have a ton of data on like the systems of the Spire.
I'm open to having allies. I can write those.
Okay, but even with that, just because of you came to Seethe.
Yes, she came.
And so
to see.
you are not immediately kind of on all of the different systems.
Okay.
You have a little bit less of an imprint on the city.
Okay.
And that will matter to certain people. There are places like Hologram Corp, if you guys choose to have your base there, if you don't make a certain number of appearances or posts or amplifications,
Nice.
you go to jail. So, like, you do want to think about
Not that one.
stuff like that. But okay, excellent.
I do have another thought. So Dan and I have been talking about how to connect our characters,
Sure.
and because he's a journalist, and I want to save these other circus androids,
Ooh,
he could write about
I like that.
that awful
Okay.
thing happening.
I like that. And I think that makes sense for like, why do you trust, of everybody that you could trust coming to this planet, why a group of criminals in the undercrawl? Because this guy could break this story. This
Yes.
could, okay.
And my
I
character
like
is
that.
someone who very much like takes interest in people. He very much cares about people, despite his like kind of like oh, can I bum a cigarette even though I have one, kind of like very like I want to say he's like very 90s TKO like UFC kind of like he has a tap out shirt, you
Yes.
know. But at the same time he's
Amazing.
like not that. He's very like just like he's supposed to be different things. But like I think my character would definitely take an interest in like would we have like a relationship? Would I know your character beforehand, or we can talk about it too? if you
No,
want.
but maybe I've seen your articles.
Okay, maybe you reached out to me because you found one of the articles, or
I guess.
we can talk about it later.
Yeah.
We can develop it.
Okay.
Or we just like ended up meeting each other and then.
Yeah.
I have some nefarious ideas
Okay,
about
cool.
this.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, fantastic. And then last but not least, second here. All right, David. I had Brendan on here 3 times, and I was just trying to figure out why. But it's because I had you. I don't know what order I put you in my mind, but I thought you guys were going to sit in a different order, but I was massively incorrect.
Yeah, so my character is Theodore, goes by Theo Arsenault. The concept going over in my head is very much like I'd say middle to lower middle class in the middle section here, neon, and it's him and very like typical family. Father's probably like some kind of mechanic, right? Or mom probably has a typical middle class job too, school teacher or something like that. And it's him and his brother, right? His brother is definitely the high performer, the star child, and Theo's more of like, he's not a bad kid, but he'll push limits, he'll push boundaries a bit. He like, yeah, when he gets in trouble, like it's fine, you know, he'll figure it out. He's the younger brother.
Okay.
At some point, something happens and the parents pass, and they leave what little money they had. Their you know, whatever they were saving are up to the kids. And Theo's brother Eric sees this as his chance to get out of Neon, specifically moving up.
He's going up to the spire.
I don't have it. I have some points in my head, and obviously we can talk about it more.
Yeah.
But Eric is essentially, hey Theo, me and you are in this together. Like, you know, it's not gonna sound great, right? We're you know,
Okay.
we're blood, baby, and maybe either strings him along on his kind of corporate rise, but at some point the reveal is made, and essentially Theo is kind of taking the cleaners and receives not only nothing but is shoved further down in society, while Eric begins his corporate ascent upward.
I'm so sad.
I love that.
I don't want, like, you know, like, oh, he's secretly a murderer, right? But Eric is like, hey man, this is my chance.
Yeah.
To make something of myself. Like, I don't have to.
So
worry
one
about
thing
food.
about like whenever, because to me it sounds like Eric is a villain, but to me villains, I believe that I have almost never created a bad guy.
Yeah.
I think everybody who exists Jimmy 12 was a bad guy. But
The only one.
most characters, they have a reason. Nobody is just mindlessly evil. And it's not
Sure.
fun to have a character that is like, "Mwahaha, I'm murdering the orphans because it makes me happy."
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there needs to be kind of depth and nuance. And I think a good villain genuinely has to believe in what they're doing. And it sounds like he doesn't believe that he's doing a good thing, but he believes that realistically you get one life and this is his fucking chance.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't take his chance, like, he wouldn't bear any ill for you if you did that.
I see it as Eric thinking, like, you know, maybe there might have been like, Theo's a fuck up. He's gonna squander it. He doesn't know what he's doing. I
I could
go to
save
class. I don't even think it's I'm gonna save him. It's like I know what to do when I have an opportunity, and Theo doesn't know when an opportunity is handed to him. So if I got to do what I got to do to get myself out of here, I'm all in.
Yeah.
So
I hate him.
Eric begins his ascent up the corporate ladder. I don't know which area
He is
is here, but
Evil.
I do picture him as, like, you know, young executive, like, you know, definitely on the ascent, while Theo using his, like, essentially just his silver tongue, right, is in the depths, and he's essentially some kind of cross between, like, a scam artist / con artist and maybe some type of, like, smuggler. I don't know if we can, like, work together on something there,
Sure.
but
Nice.
if you are like the logistics in this type of operation, he would be more like the salesman.
You're the Anya.
Trying to like,
okay.
So that makes sense. Like you naturally.
Yeah,
kind of step
naturally.
into a
Yeah,
role.
she can't do that, so she gravitates towards people who can.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also kind of want like maybe the first time, you know, I do want Thea to have had like run-ins with law enforcement at some point.
Okay.
I do want like maybe the first or even second or third time too, for him to have like, you know, it wasn't like a super major like, you know, murder or something, but it's like, hey dude, you're in the drunk tank, or you're in our like, you know, low security like jail for the weekend, and at some point he gets let out because like, hey, your bail was posted by a guy named Eric.
Gotcha.
Oh, nice.
Or some kind of like, you know,
I hate him less, but I still hate him.
Something like that, and like. There's that weird mix of like thank you, but I also like this makes me like hate you more.
And that also hangs over you. Too,
yeah,
like,
there's always that shadow of
okay.
like, you know, it's a weird emotion to feel like, you know, such a dislike, but also like, you know, you helped me out, but just enough to make me keep suffering, right?
You guys have the most tragic backstories over there. Oh my god.
Hey,
You too.
hey, I was
Not
saying.
really.
And then
Like your friend died.
was-
That's it.
My class is Envoy. I figure it needs a charisma class. It's got to be someone who can like, you know, talk a lot. Like I wouldn't say he's, you know, my what are we calling it, like 0.5 character that was a strength base, essentially Macho Man Randy Savage. It's definitely not like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, class is going to be Envoy. In terms of like, I feel like that has to be the nemesis. Like Eric has to be.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah,
That's easy.
and not necessarily like, you know, we're gonna end things in a shootout kind of nemesis, but like, I want you to fail.
The mental.
Like
No, I think some of the best showdowns that we've ever had have not been combat related. They've been very much like verbal conversations.
Diego.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
part of
Diego's
That
a
was a
great
good one.
part of the like driving, I haven't figured out in my mind yet, but like maybe somehow Theo still has access to some form of like communications that are going to Eric as he's, you know, like thinking up plans with whatever corporation he's in, and he's sometimes using that as like trading material in Neon, trying to find competing corporations to like, you know, I know they're working on this product, or I know they're doing this or doing that.
Yeah.
And I haven't decided yet if it's like almost a pennies on the dollar. Like, dude, you give me like a stick of gum, I'll tell you what this corporation is working on their next product.
It's as much for like the profit as it is to fuck up the
like
gotcha.
And I like the idea of him thinking like something will work, and like, oh man, I can't wait till they fire him, and then like something happens to where like he gets a promotion.
Yeah.
He's just like, son of a bitch. I like that
Love
though.
that.
Yeah, and I would like Eric to be just as good at like, you know, persuade, like the boardroom equivalent of like just a persuasive, handsome dude who just like knows how to sell something, and like, but he knows how to like follow it up. Whereas
You're seeing just two sides of a coin flip.
Yeah.
The exact same skill set, the exact same everything, born to the same parents, but one person just had luck go his way and one person didn't.
Yeah.
I think that's a
very
fantastic.
nature versus nurture kind of two brothers. I like that.
I love that. Okay, fantastic. This is great.
Yeah.
Can we just real quick, just because I want to ask, can you give your characters like personality too?
Yeah.
Theo, like when it's not involving his brother, he's kind of in it for like the love of the game. Like, you know, how can I like?
That's also kind of dark.
Like,
No, I love it.
Like
no,
that-
I think it is. I think like when you think about like the ghoul from Fallout, that's really what that is.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Like Eric's. I mean, Theo's not like, you know, oh, I've always had a passion to like do this or do that, but he likes talking to people. He likes like almost in the back of his mind being like, man, I bet I could sell this woman in white gloves a ketchup popsicle or something like that. I bet I could. You know what I mean? Like,
So you're also evil.
yeah, not like. I would.
I see some promise here between these two in terms of making money because he owes the debt collector.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I think his like if it was like a a heist movie, right? He would definitely want to be like the face guy.
Oh, yeah.
But put it on a disguise. Like you know what? He probably does have like a closet of like delivery driver outfit, fancy suit, like I don't know,
Classic
school teacher,
convoy.
teacher outfit.
Oh,
like
for sure.
yeah, he's, and he's done like he has his odd jobs that he'll work sometimes, but I think like obviously the way to make money here is either working with like heist crews who need like someone to pose as something for them or something along those lines, and he might have like a fake name or two from having to like my John Doe identity and I don't know, the Aquadyne conglomerate is hot right now.
Sure.
Gotta drop that one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh,
Need to,
you
like,
have
move over.
multiple personalities and different spires? Is that what
It's
you're
a
saying?
very smart approach.
I'm doing
Yeah.
something similar, but
That's
for
cool.
journalist stuff, I only
I
have
love
I only have
that.
journalist
Yeah.
personalities though, like various names I can
Just to
post
submit
on.
articles in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I think that's fantastic. And we can kind of figure out what those are.
Can we also do Brandon and Olive's personality for the
sure.
characters too? Because we didn't do this.
Sorry.
What's your ancestry?
He's just
Human?
a human.
Yeah, I'm also
Okay.
human.
He's a regular guy.
Just a regular guy.
I have a soft spot for like average Joe
Me
or
too.
average Jane stories, where it's just a crazy world. It's just a regular person trying to like make their way in it.
Good on
Um,
you.
I will say this too before we kind of like I don't know if you have any other questions about like character backstory, but like despite enjoying like hey Kobayashi Vector's not gonna miss this 1,000 credit or 2,000 like however I rip them off, like I do think his kind of like very middle class upbringing and then like kind of being exposed more to like some people have it rough down here.
Yeah.
There is a penchant to like I can scam another CEO off some extra few thousand credits if like
Yeah.
someone's walking by and it seems like they need it more, like take it.
Yeah.
I can find it again.
Yeah. No, it's a
yeah.
little bit of a more passive Robin Hood.
Yeah. He won't be like oh my god I have to save the dregs of society, but it is as much as he knows how to like play the heartstrings of someone, he is like susceptible to his own
Okay. Yeah,
his
I like
own
that.
drug of manufacturer of choice here. So
I really like the phrase the love of the game. I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
really the best. I love that.
yeah, he just thinks it's fun. Like, but that's probably why Eric knows what to do with it.
Yeah.
And like you what our parents left you, you will fuck it up. I have the plan here
Nice.
as to how to ascend.
Eric might be a sociopath? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so. I think Eric really, like, genuinely, the way that I'm seeing Eric here is like he loved his parents and they
Sure.
left him this, and this is the only thing that they left him. To squander this would be
Yeah.
like disrespectful of the parents, of everything that they've worked for.
Yeah.
And look at this fucker, he's going to do this. And like from, I can only help so much. I'll bail him out if I like hear he's in jail. I'll whatever. But ultimately, like I have to make this work.
Yeah.
It's not just about like succeeding. It's about like truly succeeding, not just money,
Yeah.
but like what.
Climbing.
Like like I can create a new better life for myself. Like I don't have to live here anymore. Like I know I can make it.
Yeah.
I know Theo can't make it.
Hell yeah.
So
Okay.
love it.
I love Eric. Eric is going to be a lot of fun.
I love
play.
it.
Okay.
And you two, your personalities?
Sure. So Sagan is he's pretty cynical and angry a lot of the time.
Bet. I would be too.
Yeah, me too.
Holy shit.
Cynical on
he-
behalf of
He kind of like has this feeling of like he's been forced to do what other people want so long that now when someone comes up to him and is like, hey, you really need to do this, he just kind of reacts with cynicism like it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It'll never that'll never work. But like when he sees something kind of whimsical or fun, he's like, I kind of want to do that. So often, I think of him as like Mr. Side Quest. Like
There might be
Yeah.
a friendship that's going to form here.
yeah, like oh yeah, we really need to like pay rent. Hey, what's that over there? We need to build that park. That would be really cool.
Well, it's almost like because nothing really matters, it's like whatever kind of catches your interest is just as important as everything else. Yeah.
But I imagine him as like, he's not the most outgoing person. He's kind of a grump, but he really cares about people through his grumpiness. And so like, he's probably known to the people around him. It's like, oh yeah, it's that guy with the weird leg who like gives me candy, or like he's that guy with the weird leg who's like always asking how my day is and making sure I'm okay when I'm at the bus stop or whatever.
He sounds like a person who's very clinically significant in their behaviors.
All the kids come out. It's weird leg.
He's got the best candy.
Well, I was a regular in the Alston Brighton bar scene in like I would say like early 2010s. There's a guy there, if you know the scene, you know Pete. Peg Leg Pete, who like is a beloved person within the Alston community, and he would prop up a lot of those bars. He was great, but very similarly, like everybody knew him. He wasn't friendly. He was actually markedly not. But like if anybody messed with Pete, like I mean, why would you fuck with Pete? Like he's just a dude doing his best.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good memories.
And Olive?
I think I'm going to play her as a more silent character, extremely judgmental, but also passive in how information like gets handled.
She's not a gossiper.
Yeah, she'll.
There might be, and you know, if you don't want to go down that road, that's totally cool. But if there's like a kind of like, like I said, you're like the logistics part.
Yeah,
of this kind
she's
of thing.
like, you have the dream, she makes it happen.
Yeah, and then like I'll go sell it, and it's very. I could see something being there as like if we wanted to do like minor connection before like the actual game starts.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's a lot of sadness in this dystopia. Jeez, guys.
There you go. It's a dystopia.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I honestly, I like the role play and deep story stuff.
Oh no, me too. And I think that's one of the
part.
things is like when you try to do that in most games, the game will fall apart before you ever get a chance to really do that. But we have the privilege of playing at a table where like we just always play, and so we get to explore a lot of that here, which is fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have allies, we have personalities, we have a couple enemies. A few of you actually gave me some bonus enemies, which will be very important
Some bonus
as we
what?
come along. Some bonus enemies, some nemesis that will be
Nemesis.
playing a very large part in the story. Many of you have told us about your characters, a little bit about your powers, your abilities, but not everything about your characters has been shared about this table. Some of you have been a little bit more secretive than others, and we'll explore that over the next couple of years as well. It sounds like, so the next question here is, how did you guys all come together? And it sounds like it came about primarily through the smuggling connection that you sort of had with you as sort of maybe a genesis point, and then in trying to find somebody probably like, so how did the rest of you kind of find this group?
One thing that could happen, I don't think that you would have written about the industrial accident with only 6 dead. Like that's.
I think I would definitely know Nix, though. I think Nix would probably have searched me out and be like, can you help me do this? I think that's a very kind of coded robot journalist kind of story. I could see that.
Okay.
You could have, like, because I imagine the Hylax Hall was like not a huge thing, but like a thing in the community. It always had people over, and then like when it closed down, maybe at some point you were like, hey, what happened to that Hylax Hall? And then like maybe we got introduced through that, like if you were writing up like almost a human interest piece on that.
Okay.
Because the Hall of Hylax is like an unusually bright spot in like a pretty dystopian world. So like very noticeable when they pop up.
I could definitely see that. I like the idea that this is like a community that like the news doesn't really want to touch, and that's like a lot of what my character is trying to do. It's like more of like outsider journalism. Yeah, and like I really like that because that way I can kind of. My character is supposed to build himself up too, like to get up with like outsider journalism, and then kind of get more into like middle, like kind of like local news, and then once I get to that point, I can start kind of making the news myself as like the top kind of shot caller. So like that kind of like storyline plays with what I'm trying to do because I would like to give your story more attention, and then I kind of start with an outsider view, and then we can build up together, trying to solve the mystery, but also giving more attention to the mystery.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. definitely.
Okay. So that, I believe, connects everybody but Theo.
No, but Theo and Blalinka. Wait, how are me
right,
and...
right.
Wait, so how are Theo and
Yeah,
Blalinka
Yeah,
connected
but
to
say,
this?
that's
we
Triangles.
that's a thing from you guys, but how do you all link up with us and
Yeah.
our like potential like something thing? Like,
So my
do you-
suggestion for this, there's a fixer that all of you are going to be getting your first job from, and who will offer you other jobs in the future if you decide that you really want to kind of lean into them as like an ally. You'll progress. You'll learn a lot more about them. But the fixer that you are starting out with is an android named Chrome Dream. They're an information broker who runs contracts out of a nightclub called Club Mirage, all capital Mirage. She is somebody who could have brought your two disparate groups together in trying to find a courier for a particular package. They needed somebody with a diverse set of skills to be able to get to a different place. They needed somebody to talk their way past security. They needed somebody who would be able to get around some of the more kind of like physical traps, so more acrobatics and stuff like that. They needed security for when things went wrong. And, you know, they needed all these different kind of things. Chrome Dream could have assembled all of the two separate groups for your very first job. And that kind of could be how you met.
Is Chrome Dream supposed to be like a peep or like a...
No, less involved than Peep. So
Okay.
in our last campaign, they had a mission. I wanted, from running D&D, I learned it was helpful to have a point of contact. It was helpful for the party to have a boss, so that I could say, "Hey, go here," especially early on. And so Peep was a very hands-on mission coordinator. Chrome Dream doesn't care that much about any of you.
Okay.
You don't work for them. You are an asset to them. And that can change depending on the course of the game. If you pursue no more options from Chrome Dream after your first mission, you'll probably not hear about them again. So it really depends. You will have as much interaction with them as you want.
Cool.
They're not as involved as Peep. So they could have called you all together. You would have had your first mission would have been a no questions asked drop off of a package in a relatively difficult place. This difficult place being a minor crime boss's house. And so you had to get past security. You had to find your way through the sprawl. You had to probably fight a dangerous creature or two. You deliver the package and then you left. No problem.
We've already done this.
You've
Sorry.
already done this. This is your first job together.
Do we know
Good
what's
job,
in
guys.
it?
You did it. That's how you got to level 3. You didn't until
Okay.
about a day later, this crime boss became incensed as their son's head was delivered in a package to their doorstep.
Oh
So
my
we
God.
delivered a head?
And so you
Oh my
all
God.
became known, whether you wanted to or not, as the Skullrunners.
Oh.
Dream.
Okay.
So that was your very first mission. You didn't realize how big of a deal it was. In many ways, Chrome Dream sort of set you up, not expecting you to succeed, like in and out cleanly wasn't the expectation. And so like certainly like paid you better than offered, and like that is where the secondary mission comes in now. With your abilities now taking a little bit more serious jobs. And in fact, this next we'll talk about this next job in a second. But does that make sense, kind of combining the two groups through Chrome Dream?
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. Fantastic. So everybody has allies. We have some nemesis. We have a starting point. This seems like a really good place because it's about to be 8 o'clock to step away for a quick 10-minute break.
Nice.
We can get some drinks, we can get some snacks, and then when we come back, we will do a quick overview of the various factions within Seethe. I'll give you a super quick overview of all of the factions, so all 12, very fast. And then we will close our campaign out by building the Skullrunner faction together. So we'll talk a little bit about the colors that you want, the customs that you have, if any, and we'll build the burn node, which is your hideout together.
Burn
The
note?
burn note.
The burned node.
Oh, burn
okay.
note.
So I'll talk a little bit about that. That speaks to the physical location of it. But thank you for sticking with us. We are going to step away for a quick break. There will be a countdown on your screen, and we'll be back at the end of it. We'll see you then. And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us through the break if you did. If not, we're planning Starfinder, and you're a part of it now. So when we left off, we built our characters. We can do a little bit of talking over the next week about filling out some of the details about some of the relationships and things like that. Some of you have opted to leave a little bit of mystery even for yourselves, which I really appreciate.
Yes.
And so that will unfold over the course of the story. The next thing that I wanted to do is give you just a quick overview of the factions here, and then we'll dive into building our own. So on the map, and for those of you at home, you can kind of see the maps here. You'll be able to see them in even greater detail at AlberonRPG on Instagram. I'll post a picture up sometime next week. But this map shows you the rough layout of the spire that each company owns. Each one looks a little bit different. Each one has a different sort of flavor and a different way in which the laws are observed, the way that the architecture is even. Heliox Systems is the sort of primary pentagon-looking thing up on the top. This is a organization that studies biotechnology and cybernetics. They are sleek surgical chrome. They use a lot of white LEDs to kind of like line their various augments. They have a focus in cyberware and neural implants. Their laws are typically enforced by the Heliox Compliance Division. Next up is the Kobayashi Vector Group. They are really focused on weapons and robotics, a lot more military in the way in which they present. They focus on drones and mech frames primarily. They also have a secondary market in secondary AI, or security AI. Vector Security Corporation is their law enforcement arm. You also have Hologram Corp. This is Facebook, essentially. They run the infosphere. They run the Hologram social media service. They focus on social media and promotions, as well as digital presence. Their brand is very much like neon and like glitching sort of lights. They have the content moderation division and its elite branch, the editors, which you want to be very mindful of. Volterra Grid is where energy comes from in the city of Seethe. They focus on energy production and distribution. They make fusion grids. They deal in plasma routing across the city. They actually sell blackout control in their spire. This is Volterra Grid. They typically have like white-blue light as their sort of color. In most of the Volterra Grid spire, there is like arcing electricity across much of their landscape. They have blackouts that kind of roll across much of the grid. They ration their power in order to sell it across much of Seethe. And so if you live there, despite this being the place where energy is produced, it's actually one of the harder places to come across it. This is why there is such a black market in like batteries and things like that. But should you sell illegal batteries, you may run afoul of the circuit wardens, who both enforce laws and regulate power, and they have the ability to access the grid directly. The Mind Mesh Collective is in the top right-hand corner. They are the smallest corporation in Seethe. They focus on brain-linked social networks, shared emotional experiences, and memory streaming. They half of the population of this spire is living within the mind mesh virtual reality. And so though they go about the world in a sort of dreamlight state, they are living in like a slightly different reality than most other people are. Their motto is why experience reality alone. There are many dream lounges here. The laws here are enforced by the cogitators, who are able to monitor neural traffic directly within the spire.
That's where Olive would live.
There you go.
100%.
No, it's not. We'll get
Oh,
there in a
really?
second. We'll
Okay.
get there in a
Never
second.
mind.
There is the Aquadine conglomerate. Life flows here. That is their tagline. They are the producers of water within Seethe. They also do water purification. They also do atmospheric regulation and climate systems. So any of that really is from Aquadine. They are the only spire that experiences regular artificial rain across most of the place. And in fact, it's usually raining in some way, shape, or form, or at the very least dripping. The depths of this spire in particular are worth noting because they flood with very clean water in the upper zones, and then much dirtier, more polluted water as you move down. This spire is regulated by the Environmental Control Authority, and they can leverage some of these water systems in a more aggressive manner. There is the Valor Syndicate. This is probably where Olive would live. Their motto is simply indulge.
Oh, yeah.
They have a focus on clubs, drugs, sensory experiences. The neon depths of this spire is about twice the size of any other spire. It expands into the upper spire proper, and actually, when viewed from the sky, this is the only part of the asteroid that really lights up in any meaningful way. There are a lot of fashion houses that exist here that have designer emotions in addition to like designer clothing. There are no clocks here. Clocks are actually illegal within the Valor Syndicate
Nice.
place. There's a lot of gambling and things like that occur here. This is an entire city that is just immensely overstimulating. This is regulated by something called house security. Very discreet.
House mom just.
But they're there. And then there's Gravitas infrastructure. They focus on construction, the transit systems across all of Seethe. They build the city. Their laws are kept by the Construction, Architecture, and Engineering Safety Authority. Almost there. There is Ledger Core. They focus on banking, credit, and debt tracking. They run all of the sort of... If you fall into significant debt with Ledger Core, parts of the spire become inaccessible to you. Eventually, doing things like filling your oxygen tanks from the public facilities becomes out of reach. Ledger Core has a unique reach into most of Seethe. They are not a group that you want to run afoul of.
Oh, okay.
Their laws
You're
are
already
enforced by the
running.
auditors. Echelon Pulse is the other side of Heliox. This is sort of their direct competition. They're not doing terribly well. They focus on genetic modification for like lifestyle and designer physique, not for function or for like any specific kind of format. Everybody here, very optimized. This is very like Stepford Wives in sort of a dystopian city sense. The Standards Enforcement Office is the sort of regulation here. And then the final group in the very bottom right-hand side here is Axion Relay. They run all of communications, which puts them in a uniquely powerful situation. They are purported to run surveillance networks across all of Seethe. They perform data recovery when it is lost and are rumored to be responsible for much of the data loss. They have the Signal Integrity Division, who are the sort of police of the Axiom Relay. And those are the major factions of Seethe. There are smaller factions. There's like fast food conglomerates. There are things like that, but those are the big ones. Yeah.
Who is Valor Syndicate? Oh, that's the
Clubs,
indulgence
drugs,
ones. Yeah.
vice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Indulge. So,
I have 11, so...
Heliox, Kobayashi,
Yep,
Seethe Halo.
Hologram,
yep,
Volterra, Mind Mesh,
yep,
Aquadine,
yep.
Valor,
Yeah.
Gravitas,
Yeah.
Ledger Core,
Yeah.
Echelon Pulse,
Yeah.
Axiom.
There's
Halo.
11 plus the Halo.
Oh, the Halo.
Plus
Yeah.
The
Halo.
Halo, yeah.
that's
So the
what I
Halo,
wanted.
the Halo
you.
is not one. Thank you. The Halo. I have 12 in my notes. There's 11 corporations. Oh, it's because technically you guys are the 12th. You're the Skullrunners.
Okay.
Oh.
But the Halo itself does not belong to one of these groups. Almost all of the executives of every single one of these organizations does not live on Seethe. They live in the Halo, where it's safe, where it's more curated of an experience, where they don't have to look at the impact of their work. It is very much a literal city in the clouds. So these are the basic factions here. For all of you now, for the Skullrunners, do you have an idea? You exist within the Undercrawl, but that spans all of Seethe. So where do you want to exist?
I know where you should not exist is definitely not Ledger Core.
I certainly couldn't be in Legend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
definitely not Ledger
I
Core.
definitely like the idea of being more mobile. So being near places like Gravitas would give us at least maybe the ability to like go to other places.
I like that idea, but for a different, well, the same reason, but I was thinking Axiom Relay. You get kind of quick access to communications going around.
Yeah,
when
Valenka would
stuff
want
is
either
going on.
Axiom or Gravitas. That's where she would.
Yeah.
I personally would want to just live in the slums. I want to live.
Well, I mean, yes, we
The-
are,
the-
but
it's
which
down,
one?
down,
Like,
dirt.
Yeah,
Do you
but
want
which
slum?
one?
I want
We
the
get to
slums.
choose.
You can go even more slum than
No.
If you guys want to live like on the Rust Ocean, you can get
Pirates. We can get a hover ship.
I think I would want to evenally go to Kobayashi to get the drones.
there. Oh, and you can travel
Yeah.
across any of these
Yeah.
places. It would take you multiple days to go from one end to the other.
But this is more so like, where's our hideout? so
where are
to
you
speak.
sleeping?
Yeah.
That's really what we're talking about.
Maybe is it on purpose that the points of is it the spire? What's it called? The whole
Yeah,
thing?
that's just one big.
That they
city.
overlap the halo.
No, the halo is like floating high above them in orbit. It's mostly just there because like
Like if we were looking at this
artistically,
from a
it's hard to
different-
put the halo.
Yeah, from a different way, this would be pointing
Yeah.
upward.
Yeah.
I just wanted to double check in case there was.
I don't know. I think any place could be really great.
Every place
Yeah.
has a benefit and a drawback. Some of them are more obvious than others. You could place yourself right on the nexus of up to 4 of these places if you really wanted.
Oh,
You could put yourself right between Hologram Corp, Heliox, Volterra, and
Valora might be
Kobayashi.
safest.
The
for us.
negatives and positives will all apply. So that's something to think about.
If y'all are cool with it, how would you feel about being here at this nexus of Gravitas, Axiom, and then
Kobayashi.
Kobayashi?
That would work
And then
great for me.
maybe also Valor.
I think I like Liz's idea about being safer in Valor because that's if we're basically drug runners and we're trying to run akin to the law. I feel like maybe. I mean, sure they have their own house security, but as long as people are spending money, they're probably happy. So as long as we're, like, keeping the economy going and not pissing people off, that's not supposed
And
to
I
be.
just I have this feeling that we shouldn't be caged in. We should, if anything
We
happens.
need, if something happens, we need
You,
to be able to.
I mean, you can always literally just
we are
walk
caged in.
off the city into the Rust Ocean and just try to walk all the way around if you really want. It'd be like a you could Magellan all the way from the tip of Valor around the asteroid, around the dark side of the asteroid, where you probably freeze to death. But provided you don't, you could come up and then walk onto Hologram Corpse.
Well, that's
City.
why we need to be a part of Gravitas because transit.
Does give you access to
As
transit
a-
early on.
yeah, no, like I totally am on board with like having Gravitas involved in some way for transit, but that's why I'm like, for the same reason, I feel like in character he'd want to be somewhere close to Axiom
Me too.
because
I think
have,
Axiom is
Yeah.
you're gonna
smart.
you're gonna have some kind of, I'm not saying we're hack the planet, but I'm saying like, hey, you can keep tabs on comms going from different corporations here and there. Like information is as much a commodity as is like
Amen.
water or batteries. So
What is the
yeah.
Signal Integrity Police? What do they do?
So the one second here, Axiom Relay.
Would I have to be facing against the signal integrity police if I'm trying to be like outside journalism? Will that be like
Not against.
Okay.
Not at first, anyways. It really depends.
Because I don't want to be like just chilling at home and being like pushing out an article about like a next door restaurant that sucks, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a knock at my door.
Well, they track, intercept, and neutralize unauthorized transmissions and the individuals behind them. For a restaurant, probably not a big deal.
Yeah.
For
saying
Yeah.
like
This sounds like a double-edged sword.
We're not gonna get real.
I'll tell you right now, everything is a double-edged sword. There is a positive and a negative for every place. I highly recommend choosing one, but I'm saying that you can put yourself right on the nexus between them.
I think I'm with Liz. I think Valor would be the best because we can blend in and we can at least be more with criminals, which who we are.
I think Sagan would want to be close to Gravitas, but not in Gravitas.
Okay.
So Valor kind of on the edge makes sense.
Okay. So kind of northern Valor Syndicate territory.
Yeah, because I imagine the Hylaxian Hall that he was a part of is in Gravitas. So
Okay. Good to know. So we are going to be underneath Northern Valor Syndicate. We talked a little bit before, and I just want to make sure about your colors being yellow and purple. Does that still work?
I like that.
Okay, because that's what the logo is.
Yeah.
But we can always change that.
It's the Texan in me, but I'm just like I go quick to
They go quick, yeah.
LSU.
So
What's that?
LSU is purple and
nose
green.
there?
Yeah. We'll talk about that
Like
in just a
streaks of
second.
purple in there.
Oh.
In fact,
So I'm like, we want to rename ourselves the Tigers.
so the burn node. Deep in the undercrawl, beneath the Northern Valor Syndicate, there is a ruined section of infrastructure in which there is a control room that once routed power to a section of the Neon Depths that has really been sort of devastated by time. It is a sort of forgotten scavenger squat now. There's toxic coolant that leaks on one side and dangerous live wires overhead. They sort of form natural traps for this place, and so home security in a way. It is stuck right between a flooded coolant trench and a decommissioned mag train maintenance tunnel.
Ooh.
Wait, say that again? It's decommissioned coolant? What?
Mag train maintenance tunnel.
A flooded coolant trench. So a trench that is just full of like bubbling blue neon liquid. And a decommissioned mag train maintenance tunnel. This hideout has an entrance that is hidden behind a rusted industrial bulkhead that is tagged with gang graffiti, and it opens currently at the start of our campaign with a simple mechanical crank.
So that's the door right there.
Very much so.
Okay.
So, as you enter into this space, there is what is called the, I guess we call it like an anteroom, sort of. It really is just a space that is littered with cracked hollow screens. It has like dangling cables kind of drifting overhead. What sort of furniture do you guys drag to make this sort of more than just like a power station? Is there couches? Did you guys like steal any kind of furniture, or are you leaving it really like bare bones?
Is this where we're sleeping?
No. So mechanically, there is one important thing here. There is a broken power grid schematic of the neon depths above you, which may become useful later. At the moment, it is just sort of a map on the back wall. Aside from that, there are 3 other sort of rooms that exist. There is a side room that is sort of like a closet at one point. There is a workshop sort of space. And then there is what at one point was a supervisor's office for this power relay. And you guys can kind of turn those into what you want them to be. I would highly suggest this entry room being sort of like a living room space. You can do whatever you want with it.
Can I put a tire swing up?
There is a tire swing within this
All
space.
right. You got a tire swing.
there would absolutely be a large table with probably a bunch of scavenge chairs, and the table would have 3 stars carved in it for Hylax.
Oh, is it still a Shiren with a...
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
Shiren with 3 stars.
Oh, it is? Okay.
The
The crown of stars. Yeah, okay. Nice.
So tire swing, a table carved with the sigil of Hylax, a bunch of scavenge chairs. I'm imagining like lawn chairs, office chairs, like every variety of chair that you could
For those of you who have seen Blue's Clues, Steve's big red chair. There's one of those up there too. It's really annoying to like get in and out, but like it's pretty comfortable.
Like it just barely fits behind the table.
Do I want like a mini fridge or something?
There has to be a mini.
Yeah, I feel like. Well, I feel like there's a full. There's
there
5
should be a
of
big
us.
fridge.
There's an actual fridge, maybe like a disgusting work kitchen or sink. That's like those sinks that are just attached to the wall, like in old laundry rooms.
Yeah.
A single base cabinet kitchen counter that's pulled away from the wall for some reason.
Yes.
Like an island.
Is this where you lived?
I'm describing a house I've lived in.
Can we say that there's like the actual counter, but then like we wanted an island, but we just found another counter that goes.
Yeah, literally just from a different kitchen. Yeah.
Fantastic.
The pans are hanging from nails on the wall.
Yeah, they're the nails you put on like train tracks, right? To like together. Yeah.
Phenomenal. Okay. So this is just a mismatched den of scavenged goods. It's one part kitchen, one part living room. There's a tire swing.
There's a real quick too, because this is the living room area. I do think that it would be apropos if we, I don't know, have some stash of pistols or some kind of like, I don't know,
like
a hidden stash.
I don't want to call it a vault because that makes it sound nice, like I don't know, like the gun box or something.
Like
it's like
under the
it's
sink
like you know how you have that drawer in the kitchen.
Well, maybe in the office, like the manager's office space, maybe there's like a decrepit desk where there's just a cardboard box of all of our guns.
I was gonna say like it's like a similar mishmash of like we have like and obviously there's laser guns and stuff here, but like look, we have a 380 with like 2 bullets. We got like we have like a 9mm, like the magazine kind of like doesn't work, right? But like
I'm imagining windows with shitty dusty blinds.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like looking into the living room from the office, there's like those glass windows and then like dusty blinds.
Yeah, like the supervisor.
Yeah.
At least one window is like horribly cracked.
Oh, for sure. I love that. Okay, so the supervisor's office is just a large, shitty desk.
What is the purpose of the supervisor's office?
It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. We do need like a bathroom and like.
So outside there is the flooded tunnel. Down about 15 feet. Down about 15 feet of crumbling concrete and rebar. There is a partially collapsed corridor that ends in a slow-moving stream of glowing blue industrial runoff. It can be used for trash disposal. It can be used as a restroom. Odd creatures very rarely emerge from it, but that is sort of what you have as a bathroom to begin.
But we have a kitchen, right?
So you have pots and pans.
We have a full refrigerator.
Do we have a faucet?
You have a sink, a faucet, a refrigerator. So far, no stove or cooking devices, but you do have pans.
That's a very quick like heck no. You go.
We have like a Bunsen burner.
We could run a hose maybe also.
I was gonna say, hey, go do your business in the river and let it wash.
Oh no, I mean like showering and stuff.
Okay, sure, showering.
Yeah, we could run a.
But we're talking about a bathroom.
Yeah, we could run a hose from the kitchen and just shower ourselves off in the tunnel. Do we have hoses here?
You could have a hose.
All right, cool.
I'll give you guys a hose.
Nice.
No guns to start, but you get a hose. Though.
Okay.
That's what you use your budget on.
Okay.
You have to use a hose, you tie it to somebody in like a suburb in the upper spire, and you just keep daisy chaining garden hoses all the way down.
I like to think that sometimes the water is like kind of warm, but it's mostly cold when people use the bathroom.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
We should probably have like a room designated for people to swap out sleeping.
The closet.
So the closet is like it is literally a closet. So like maybe one person could sleep in there, but they wouldn't really be able to lay out if they're tall.
The supervisor's room, you could do it like an airplane. Hostess like bunk beds.
We've got bunk beds,
sure.
makeshift bunk beds.
Yeah,
we can take it off the old ship.
Yeah, like hammocks.
So in the office, I would say you can probably fit like And this is, somebody is uncomfortably close to the ceiling, but you could probably fit 3
I'll be on
beds.
top.
Okay.
Is there enough to
There
have
you
two sets of bunk beds?
Like on
I guess-
In
either
the office,
side?
for sure, no.
Yeah, instead of for sure no.
No.
Oh,
We got
okay.
one
I'm
in the living
imagining in
room and
this
then
room,
one in the.
half of the room is these 3 bunk beds. The other half is this desk,
Yeah.
the chair, and the cardboard box of guns. There is
Okay.
a 3-foot square space of floor space. that
It's just
you can
enough for the
stand
door
in.
to swing.
Exactly, and
That's
like
it.
even that, the door is never opening all the way.
Okay.
It's
That's so
mostly-
annoying.
I would say like probably you guys like remove the door.
Oh my god.
Can we put like
We got one of those bead doors.
That's exactly what I was
Yes.
thinking.
I was gonna say a
I
shower
love
curtain.
those.
Yeah, oh for sure.
Oh my god, a shower curtain. Ew, we're disgusting.
There's three,
Absolutely.
there's 3
broke.
beds in the
We need
office.
money.
There's 5 people. I think Monk would put a bed in the side office and use that as his own little office.
What side office?
Well, in the
In the
side
little- in
office,
the little
side
workshop?
closet. Sorry, yeah.
There's so there, in addition to the office, there is a closet,
You'd have to stand to
which,
sleep.
and then
No,
there's
you
the
can-
workshop, which
you can get to bed.
is like at one point was probably like a like an office, like an actual office
Yeah.
with like 2 desks.
I'm in the closet.
So you want to put a bed in the closet?
Yeah.
You certainly can.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
Monk's room.
We should
What's
probably have a couch then. In the
This
living
Yeah, I
side
feel
here.
like we
Yeah.
have like a 3-seat springy couch.
Yeah.
It's like red velvet or something like that.
Can we have a beanbag chair, Joe?
Roll arm.
You can. So within that entry place, part of the scavenge chairs is beanbag chairs, all these different things.
That's good because if we need food, that's also food.
I hate that. In this closet, you
Hide
just
stuff
have
in it.
a single bed for Monk, and then you have this kind of empty workshop. Yeah.
Can in the workshop can Valinka, because she's from Akaton, just have like a sun lamp?
idea for you.
Sure.
In your closet, like your room, right?
Yeah.
You could. I almost imagine like a photographer's studio where in the dark you have the photos hanging.
Yeah, I love that. Because my character does have. Joe did. Can I have a Polaroid camera, Joe?
Sure.
Up.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
every character will have one.
Yeah, it does.
I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Because I collect them in real life.
So you have this dingy living room / kitchen. You have this side closet that Monk sleeps in. You have a dingy sun lamp in your workshop, and that apparently is it with some
No, we've
tables.
got. I think there's like those steel top tables.
We should grow
Just
stuff.
like 2 of
We
those.
should have some plants, like growing some tomatoes.
Yeah.
And like
Use a
along the
little
edge
river
of
to
the
grow
workshop,
mushrooms.
I'm imagining like a concrete ledge and
Next to
like
the
broken
coolant?
windows.
Oh,
Okay,
we
yeah.
wanna
Broken
eat that.
windows. You guys have a little bit of like magnetic organizers. You have a cracked tool chest in there.
Yeah.
A drain in the floor.
Yeah. Oh, smart.
Yep.
Yeah. Always good to
Can
have a
there be
drink.
like a small, I don't know, wardrobe in the workshop area of just like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
your fancy closet.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Everything
we have
else
fan-
is gross except for
I
your
actually
fancy
really like
closet.
the idea that it's like a really nice, like actual oaken, like armoire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an armoire.
Inexplicably, like beautiful hand craftsmanship, like dovetail joints, everything nice. But like in the shit, it like almost makes
Not
you
in
sad
the
to look at
closet.
because
Yeah.
it's so nice and it's
But my
Yeah.
character's not in the closet.
Ah.
We don't really have a way to get it out of here without fucking it up.
Yeah. I imagine Sagan would be in the crafts thing all the time, just like making little tchotchkes. Like he's taking over one workbench, and it's like
Absolutely.
completely
Valinka's on the
covered.
other one then.
Yeah,
If she's not, yeah, I don't think she would be in the office desk.
we're like
one.
staring like across from each other. We're not saying each other, and every
Nope.
now and then I'm just like, hey, look at this.
Silence.
Look at this.
Yeah.
And you're
It's
just
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
This is in the workshop.
we're in the
If
workshop.
it's before a job, y'all are probably doing that shit, and like Theo's like, all right, everyone stop. Do I look good? Yeah. And then like, yeah, they give me thumbs up,
Then-
thumbs down. All right, gotta keep doing it.
with 5 people and 4 rooms in this entire place. Almost always you're doing this amongst each other. Yeah, all of these activities are taking place.
Could we actually have 2 tire swings so I can practice my acrobatics?
I'm gonna say it's probably too small for
Okay.
2 tire
Okay.
swings and the rest of
I'm
it.
imagining a tall ceiling.
Can I
though.
It is a
add
tall
to
ceiling.
Nix's idea? Instead of maybe tire swings, can we have like those like cat platforms?
Oh my god! Like,
Maybe
okay.
we'll put that in the expansion plan.
Okay.
That's
But-
funny.
Something to think about is as you move out, especially in the first part of your journeys, anything that you see or hear described, if you want, you can just pick it up and bring it back with you. Logistically, some things are harder than others. But ripped off a gigantic 45-pound golden statue hand in the last campaign, and it
Smuggled it effectively.
it wasn't super helpful, but you
I
had it.
tried to give it.
You had it,
She said no.
and so that was important.
I have one more addition just off that. Maybe not a catwalk, but can we have one of those big library rolling, like
Ladders,
like
yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, and some cargo nets in these high ceilings for like storage, right? Like
Oh, like ratty.
yeah, like
Ew.
I gotta like throw some shit up there, right? Yeah,
It's like an old sleeping bag.
I like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
past where like the regular shelving goes, there's just like cargo nets around the edges, and like
Yeah.
one 3-wheeled like ladder that you move around, and like somebody has to stabilize. But yeah, for
Can
sure.
the cargo net hold our weight as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that can also be a thing to play
Alternate,
with.
that.
absolutely,
Yeah, there you go.
absolutely.
I
So
got,
that,
I got
yeah.
you. I got you.
There you go.
Can we put some disguises, some costumes in the armor?
Yeah, so
That-
that
I got-
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
Can
what is
we?
there.
Can
Well, I
we
mean-
put them in the armor?
I would say, I don't want to like be the guy who's taking up too much real estate, but can I say like half of it is like my costumes, and then
And
the
then
other
the
half-
rest is the rest of us.
Yeah.
absolutely. You can even go so far as to have multiple armoires. In this fantasy universe.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't want to break believability.
We should all
because
just share each other's clothes.
yeah.
I would say some of the
You
things
all
like
rotate one shirt.
Theo at some point is
Four.
like, maybe you could get your own. And it's like, no, this is great. I think they're all together.
Maybe there's another kitchen cabinet where the rest of us put our clothes, and you have the nice
Just
armoire.
hang them by the coolant plug.
So,
Oh yeah, washer dryer
Oh, that's
I
true.
don't.
in the
So-
It's
kitchen.
coin operated.
Oh no, no! And we can't figure out how to make it not.
at the moment, you're doing laundry in that sink that you are doing everything else in.
Gross.
For everything else, for food and water, where are you guys getting food and water and like basic supplies?
Well, the vegetable plants growing in the workshop.
We're so.
You don't have anything to start with. That's certainly something that you can develop and build.
Is there a grocery store? How do other people
Not
get
in
food?
the undercrawl. You would need to go up. Most people are going into like the neon depths to go and get. Most people are getting like really shitty rations. You're getting like MREs.
My character would eat like a diet of just like
Ramen.
ramen, vending machine.
So you guys are, like,
soda,
7-Eleven
candy
grocery
bars.
shopping.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We could be going up to the clinic that my ally.
Oh, we can go to church for food.
Yeah, I would say
She's
is
not
it-
a grocer, but like maybe she'd be like, hey, these guys have food, because that would be like something that Hylax would do a lot.
For sure.
Does the it's a church of Hylax, right? Do they
Yeah.
do they do any
It's like the Hall of
Food
Hylax,
drives.
Do they do
and
any
shit.
food drives, community outreach?
Well, there's
Can-
no
can-
hall anymore.
Yeah, they
Okay.
definitely did. This person, no, this person's doing the best that they can, given the circumstances.
Okay.
I don't
I would
need
say-
to eat, right? Like androids don't eat.
You do eat.
Yeah, you do
You
eat.
do eat.
You're still
It's
biological
SROs
in
are
some
basically-
capacity.
What?
SROs are basically what you're thinking. I mean, you can talk to Joe if you want to. I don't know because how that conversation ended
Was
with
it-
SROs.
Alternative would be me having like a plug-in. Which...
I guess into a whole weird realm.
Yeah.
Without thinking too much about USB slots, I'm going to say probably just eat and drink like normal. For the medical care, we'll definitely do that clinic for this Hylax person. We can talk a little bit more
Nice.
about what they'll look like and who they'll be. You can get some minor food and stuff, but primarily you guys are going to like convenience stores. When you're out on a job, you're stopping and grabbing, shitty pod food, or maybe like street vendor food if you got paid like a certain amount. But you're not eating fresh groceries right now. Is ultimately the point. Okay. So with all of that, we have our team, we have our characters, we have our shared goals, and we know a little bit about the city that we live within and that lives around us. Next week, we're going to be able to begin our campaign in earnest with a session 1. Can I have everybody roll a d20?
Wow. I only have one, and Valenka rolled a 10.
Theo rolled a 6.
Okay.
Huh.
Nyx is 13.
Second rolled a 1,
You got a 2 earlier today or something like that?
like a 3.
Very apropos. What did you say yours was?
13.
Nix? 13 for Nix. Okay, and then Monk.
I got a 15.
Okay. So the day before session 1 begins,
Who's Blanca?
all of you went out to celebrate that you were going to get a new job from your fixer, Chrome Dream. And some of you imbibed a little bit more than others. Monk, being such a responsible person, you only imbibed a little bit. You'll be starting us off. And you fell asleep wherever you want to have fallen asleep. You can wake up in whatever condition you want to wake up. You probably are not hungover.
Okay.
Nyx, with a 13, you likely also are going to be waking up where you want to wake up. You're feeling a little bit more hungover. After Nyx, each of you, Valinka, Theo, and Sagan, will be waking up in progressively worse places. You can choose where
I'm
this
scared
is.
for you.
No, you can choose, except for Sagan, you can choose where this is. So Valinka, Theo, the two of you get to choose where this is going to be. It just needs to be worse than the previous person, so just think about that. Sagan, we're going to introduce you a little bit after everybody else.
No.
Makes sense.
And I'll talk to you a little bit more
One.
offline about how that's going to work.
I did roll 1.
So your characters celebrating getting a job from your fixer are going to be going hard in the neon depths, but nobody harder than Sagan. Nobody is going quite
My
as hard.
church boy! Really cutting loose!
Nothing matters!
Next session, we will start by introducing your characters waking up after this night of drinking. You can describe how you're feeling, where you are, how you kind of stagger into that main room. You guys will have a chance to gather up your gear, which is a real chance for you to kind of describe what you look like, how you dress, all that kind of stuff. And then you're going to head to Club Mirage for the details of your very first mission. Once you have completed this mission, which is very much the tutorial for this campaign, you will have absolute control over how you want to progress. The city of Seethe will open up greatly to you. So think a little bit about what you want out of this campaign and where you want to go, because it will really end up looking how you want it to look. Some of the enemies that you guys have given me are fantastic. They're going to be very large parts of this campaign. Some of them slot perfectly
I hate
into
my enemies so
places.
much.
Um,
I hate him so much.
I think it's going to be great.
Did
So-
you tell us who it was, or are you keeping it close to your
No,
chest?
oh god, it's
Some of you don't even know, and I think that's even more delightful.
I don't think anyone
Oh my
knows. I don't think anyone in the world knows.
So over the next week, if you guys have questions, obviously drop them in the Discord. We can talk a little bit more about some of the nuances. But is there any other questions before we end for tonight?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Good too.
Yeah.
Well, then thank you for joining us for session 0 of Skullrunners. We will be back next week, but please stay safe out there. You may not live in Seethe, but it's dangerous no matter where you live right
Ooh, I
now.
like that.
We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Don't use this head.